Imagine venturing into the freezing wilderness of Russia's Ural Mountains, only to disappear forever. 9 hikers embarked on what should have been an ordinary expedition in 1959, but instead, they met an unexplainable and horrifying fate. Their bodies were discovered in chilling conditions, with missing tongues, shattered bones, and traces of radiation. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened. Was it an avalanche, a secret Soviet experiment, or something much more terrifying? Let's dive into the Dyatlov Pass incident, one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our time. Markitas in January 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers from the Soviet Union set off on an ambitious skiing expedition through the Ural Mountains. And the group, led by Igor Dyatlov, consisted of university students and young adventurers, all skilled in harsh weather conditions. Their goal? To reach Otorten Mountain, a remote and challenging route that only the most skilled trekkers could conquer. And the team documented their journey through photographs and diaries, capturing what appeared to be an exciting and normal expedition. But little did they know, they were heading straight toward an unspeakable tragedy. Dyatlov had planned to send a telegram to their sports club once they completed their trek around February 12th. When that date passed with no word from the group, no one panicked at first. Delays were common in such extreme conditions. But as days turned into weeks, their families grew anxious. By February 20th, a rescue mission was launched. A search party, including volunteers, fellow students, and eventually Soviet military forces, began the hunt. What they discovered sent chills down their spines. On February 26, 1959, rescuers found the hikers' abandoned tent on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, meaning Dead Mountain, in the native Mansi language. And the tent was half buried in snow, but the most shocking detail? It had been ripped open from the inside, as if the hikers had frantically cut their way out in panic. Their boots, coats, and essential gear were still inside, but the hikers were nowhere to be found. And their footprints led away from the tent, disappearing into the snowy wilderness. And some were barefoot, others wore only socks. Why would experienced hikers flee into freezing temperatures without proper clothing? As something had clearly terrified them beyond reason. The first bodies were found 1.5 kilometers from the tent near a small forest area. 2 hikers, Yuri Doroshenko and Georgy Krivonyshenko, were discovered next to the remains of a small fire, wearing only their underwear. The condition of their bodies suggested they had frozen to death, but their hands were burned as if they had frantically tried to warm themselves. 3 more hikers, including Dyatlov himself, were found between the tent and the fire, their bodies positioned as if they were trying to crawl back to safety. But the real horror came when the final 4 bodies were discovered, 2 months later. These last 4 hikers were found buried under 4 meters of snow in a ravine deeper in the forest. Their injuries defied logic. Nikolai Thibault Brignolel's skull was crushed with force equal to a car crash. Ludmila Dubinina and Semyon Zolotaryov's ribs were shattered, but their skin showed no external wounds, as if they were crushed from the inside. Ludmila was also missing her tongue and parts of her lips. Even stranger, traces of radiation were found on their clothing. How could a simple hiking accident result in such bizarre and violent injuries? 1. The avalanche theory. The most official explanation suggests that an avalanche forced the hikers to flee in panic. But problems with this theory: no signs of an avalanche were ever recorded in the area. The hikers' tent was still partially standing. Internal injuries don't match the usual avalanche fatalities. 2. Soviet military experiments. Some believe the group stumbled into a secret Soviet weapons test. Evidence? Locals reported seeing strange orange lights in the sky that night. Radiation was found on their clothes. The Soviet Union was known for conducting classified military experiments in remote areas. Could they have been accidentally exposed to a secret weapon? 3. Paranormal or UFO. Some UFO enthusiasts believe that alien activity caused their panic. The mysterious lights in the sky, radiation traces, and sudden flight from the tent fuel this theory. But no concrete evidence of extraterrestrial activity has ever been found. 4. A Yeti attack? A strange photograph taken by one of the hikers shows a dark figure standing in the snow. Some believe they may have encountered a Siberian Yeti, leading to a frantic escape and deadly injuries. Though unlikely, this theory has a cult following online. After extensive investigations, the Soviet government closed the case, stating that the hikers died due to an unknown compelling force. No official cause of death was ever determined. The site was later named Dyatlov Pass in memory of the leader Igor Dyatlov. In 2020, Russian authorities reopened the case and concluded that an unusual avalanche was the cause. But skeptics still aren't convinced. More than 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most terrifying and puzzling mysteries in modern history. What do you think happened that night? Do you believe it was a tragic accident, a military cover-up, or something even more sinister? Let us know in the comments. And if you love mysteries like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more. Until next time, stay curious.